Hey, what's up, guys? Little man with a big opinion here. And today's video, I'm going to talk about setting up a mutual assistance group. Um, for the most part, this is if you haven't set up a group, you don't have friends or family members that are prepping, and you feel like, going at this alone is a lot scarier than it is with a group of people, then this video is for you. Um, I've watched other prepping videos on this. I'm pretty sure I did a video on this several years ago. Um, I've I can't find that video because I've got over 200 videos because I was just pumping them out when I first made the channel. But this is, what I would consider my bare bones. Um, you can add to this list. You can subtract if you'd like to. But the things that I put in this video will hopefully give you the groundwork for setting up a mutual assistance group. Or if you don't feel like being, the take charge leader, you do a lot better, following other leaders, people that you look up to, that sort of thing. Then watching this video and seeing the ideas that I've put in this can help you determine if that other group that is recruiting would be right for you. This list can provide you with information that you can then determine if it's a decent group, um, or if there could potentially be problems down the road, whether society is still moving along as usual, or we enter a world without rule of law. I still am getting over this upper respiratory infection, so I might pause the video every once in a while to hack up some mucus. But let's go ahead and hop into this. So I think the very first thing, which this list is a perfect example of, is setting up clear rules. The things in this list are the rules, the requirements, um, the levels that you need to get to be a part of the group. Um, and I would have it written down somewhere, when you're talking to people, trying to get them to join or they're interested in joining. Um, it's a lot more professional to have, it in front of them, whether it's in a presentation, you've printed it out to them, than just kind of coming up, like even if you know what they are and you're saying them off the top of your head, you could miss something. They might think you're just coming up with these off the top of your head, and it could change from person to person. You might forget, you know, Article 1 when you're talking to one person, you don't miss anything when you're talking to person 2, and you miss Article 7 and 8 when you're talking to the next guy. So having it, clear, written down, that way when you're going through this process, everyone's on the same page. You can say in there that these rules are subject to change, and we'll let everyone know. Um, and that kind of goes into the next one of establishing what type of hierarchy that'll be within this group. But let me finish this first one. So you have you can have it to where you have documents that you sign, because in today's society there could be legal ramifications. Um, and this is just to keep um, your assets secured, whether it's land, money, supplies. Um, this will help in any falling outs. Um, we're planning for SHTF, but stuff could happen when society is still functioning, and you just need to, you know, dot your T's and cross your I's. Um, have a clear exit, whether people want to leave peacefully or a neutral reason. They're moving across country to get another job, or to start up a different life because where they live is too expensive. I don't know. The reasons could be other than um, the person's a problem, they're causing issues. It could simply be they don't think they should be prepping, or you know a restraint that they can't stop from happening. But that ties into the next thing of having this list is what your hierarchy is going to be. Is your group more of a, militia, and you've got a military rank system, uh, where, the top guy, if you want to say you go all the way up to general, um, you know, how do you establish who's what in this hierarchy? Um, if you go down the military path and how you get ranks and stuff, or you're setting up, some type of, democracy or monarchy. Could be a dictatorship, but people probably wouldn't willingly um, join your group. But having a clear governing system put into place that coincides with a clear legal system. Obviously, while things are going normal day to day, you can't really establish, life or death sentences for that kind of thing. But the legal ramifications of your group could be, what gets you kicked out, suspended. Um, if you do this and you get kicked out, what stays and what goes. An example I have is, in Pastor Joe Fox's video, he's purchased the land. He set up a community. There's a religious aspect and there's a survival aspect. He helps facilitate the building of a cabin for your family to live out there, whether it's full time or just for an SHTF. And if you remove yourself from the group, willfully or unwillfully, the cabin stays. And so, and then of course, if society collapsed, um, how are crimes punishable? What's your legal system? It kind of needs to be established. Um, even with today's, massive, you know, judicial system in place, and you have access to read and know every single law. Most people don't know every single law, so I would say keep it pretty simple. Um, a lot of this would probably come down to, you know, similar laws that we had in roughly the 1800s. It'd probably be as simple as, the Ten Commandments. You steal, you get punished for that. Um, murder, you get punished. Um, you know, forgery or, bribing, or it doesn't have to be as complex as what our system is today. But it needs to be set up and established. Next, I would say at a bare minimum, having 1 month's worth of food um, stockpiled away, or stored away. And it can be as simple as having the calories needed for your family in rice and beans, or it could be Mountain House food. It could be canned food, but it's food that you're not touching. So it can't be, even if you have a 3-month working pantry that you rotate through, I wouldn't consider that, stored away food. This is your long shelf life, the 25 plus year stuff. It's basically, you've bought it, you've properly put it away inside of, Mylar bags, mason jars, buckets, that sort of thing. And it's food you're probably not going to touch, in your entire lifetime, unless you have a SHTF situation of your own, hurricane, job loss, that sort of thing. But I put it at a month because, I said you should have a clear way out. When you've hit 1 month's worth of food, you're still, I'd say, testing the waters of, preparedness. But I'd say you're deep enough, to know, or you're getting close to know whether this is going to be a lifestyle for you. It shows a level of commitment if, I'm seeking you to join my group or you're seeking to join the group. And if SHTF were to happen, it gives us 30 days to establish, some sort of sustainability, whether it's hunting, fishing, uh, gathering, that sort of thing. Um, the big thing is you're not allowed into the group if you've followed FEMA's recommendation of a 72-hour kit. I don't think that cuts it. You're still a weekend prepper with that kind of kit. Um, some level of security that you are proficient with. The reason why I said that, some people don't feel comfortable around firearms. Some people, might not be old enough, or for legal reasons they can't have them. Me personally, that's my, security of choice. But I put down handgun, shotgun, rifle, bow, slingshot, sword, hand-to-hand combat. And my explanation for this is you have dedicated funds, so it's another financial commitment, and the time and training to be proficient at something. If you have taken the classes for, mixed martial arts, taekwondo, karate, you've created a level of, a weapon. Um, the other thing is, in your mind, you are thinking of self-preservation, self-protection. I put down, your mentality is, I'm not waiting for the police to be late to save me, I'm saving myself, which I think that's important. If you're part of the group, I don't, I think you would be a burden, if something were to happen and we have to defend ourselves. If, you're someone that's hiding inside the fort, why the people are up on um, the towers shooting the invaders. Think of a medieval castle sort of thing. Um, you should be actively protecting yourself, the group, your friends, your family. I can understand if you are, handicapped, um, elderly, or extremely young, to a certain extent. You know, my cousin's in a wheelchair. I don't expect him to, um, be at the same physical um, level when it comes to hand-to-hand combat or something like that. But he's proficient around a firearm. He knows how to use it. He knows how to protect himself. He sleeps with one of those giant billy clubs, and he's not afraid to protect himself. If you're older, I don't expect you to be, slam firing a shotgun, but also, to a certain extent, you need to, want to take care of yourself. A lot of this is, very libertarian minded. And so I think if you expect others, to protect you, then that could be an issue. And then if you're young, as you grow older, you should grow into wanting to protect yourself. I don't expect a 4-year-old to, you know, take on a 30-year-old person, but, as you get older, I think you should want to, you know, be a person that is thinking of self-preservation or group, because you're joining a group, you're going from I'm protecting myself to, I'm, one with the group, and I want that same level of self-preservation going into, you know, family A, B, C, D. The next thing on the list is actively physically training. I put down you don't have to be training for a marathon or the Olympics, but you shouldn't be testing how fast you can run a mile when crap hits the fan. Uh, so if you aren't doing anything to better your health, you're the couch potato, the keyboard warrior, whatever you want to call, lazy people, I would say, then I don't think you should be a part of this group. That kind of goes into the last one I was talking about with self-preservation. If you aren't actively trying to better yourself, which I should say, actively trying to better yourself. Um, the next thing in here is it can be as simple as walking for 30 minutes a day. That's what they recommend, people with type 2 diabetes. Uh, the NFL says kids should play for 60 minutes a day outside. Um, cardiovascular activity is, proven to strengthen your heart and all these different things. Um, but if you're not trying to better yourself, then you're not trying to, better the group. The group is only as strong as its weakest link. Um, so if you can only do, you know, 5 push-ups this month and you're doing 6 push-ups the next month, you're bettering yourself. And I think that is another, thing on this list that would make you a good asset for a MAG or mutual assistance group. The next thing, establishing a spending budget for the group um, that is going into communal supplies. Um, I don't, so, my description I have on here is family one is spending $300 a month on prepping stuff, family two spending $75, family three is only spending $20 a month, and family four is spending $700. Me personally, it's anywhere between $100 and $150 a month. There are some people that, are doing lucky to put away, $10 each paycheck. If you're bettering yourself as a prepper, good for you. If you're able to spend thousands and thousands of dollars because you got a big YouTube channel or you've got a really fancy job, I mean, the billionaires are building bunkers and, buying escape homes in New Zealand. I mean, if they've got, $500,000 to spend on a bunker, good for them. But the group should establish, it's almost like dues, I would say. And it's not for the person that started the group to benefit from. It's, hey, everyone, say you have 5 families, you're each pitching in $20 to this. Um, and whoever's your elected leader or, military commander, they go out and they buy $100 of Mountain House food. You can get quite a few number 10 cans versus everyone buying individual packets from Walmart. You find a really good deal on 55-gallon drums. You're buying them for, $20 a piece, and you go pick up 5 of them. You got 550 gallons of water. Actually, I shouldn't have used that example. I should have used, if you go to Rain Harvest, I'm not sponsored by them by any means. I just like to tell you about deals when I see and hear them. Their 1,500-gallon above ground vertical water tank is on sale. It's normally $851, and right now it's $739. So it's about $120 off. If you got the space for it and the funds for it, go ahead. Me personally, I don't have $740 and I don't really have a spot to put it. But, someone like Pastor Joe Fox that has dozens of families, um, you know, let's say it's 8 families just to keep the numbers even. If each family pitched in $100, that 1,500 gallons was a lot more obtainable than one person trying to pitch in $100 or $800. My bad. After taxes, it'd probably be pretty close to 800. So, rainharvest.com. I'll put this in the link down below just to make it easier for you. But that's a benefit of being in a mutual assistance group is this dues or monthly spending budget could go towards big ticket items like that. It could go towards, hey, this person had an extra axe, they put it in the community shed and the handle broke. I say we spend, $15 of this communal money and go buy a new handle because it's pretty useless without that. So that establishes, a more of a commitment, albeit financially, but you can also see, the progress that comes out of that. Whether you vote on it or someone makes an executive decision on what the funds go to. And it could not be, just a cash thing. It could be, hey, once a month, everyone puts in a pound of beans. We get enough to fill up a 5 gallon bucket. We fill that up, and it goes in, you know, the the food bank for the prepping place. So you're building your group. It's showing a level of commitment, and I don't expect everyone to spend the exact same on prepping stuff. And so the next thing on this list is you have your what's considered communal and what's considered personal. Me personally, I've got a year's worth of food. If you've joined my group and you are supportive, things hit the fan, I don't want you to leave. um, and so there's a certain level of, hey, I put in this effort, I'm going to help you out, and you'll get your at least your minimum calories you need. um, but I'm not going to take from my family to keep your family going. But I'm also just not going to kick you to the curb. So if one group is putting $700 away each month, like I said, then they're probably going to have more stuff. So it needs to be established, how these things are going to work out, um, which kind of leads into the next thing of there needs to be some sort of plan for um, self-sustainability. If society doesn't, recover from the situation, what are you and your mag doing to keep yourselves going? Um, I've mentioned it several times. I think the end goal for a prepper should be, you're producing everything that you consume. And so the simple answer would be hunting and gathering. People have talked about how we'd overhunt things and, we'd be screwed. So you need to have your livestock and your crops available now. That's the simple answer. The not so simple answer is, you've got a small garden. It's not taking up your whole yard because you don't want it to take up your whole yard. But if things were to go south, I've got the skills of, gardening, and I can, amplify that to produce enough food. Right now I'm keeping my, my chickens at a steady, you know, 10 because I don't need all those eggs. Um, and, when they get old, I butcher them, I eat them, I go get more chickens. But you've got the skills to, you can't run a tractor supply. You know how to incubate the eggs and keep your cycle running. Um, you're selling part of your cow herd to, an auction house. That's how you get money to pay your bills and stuff. But you don't got to worry about bills anymore. So now you are, butchering and storing that meat up and or bartering and trading it for fruits and vegetables from the guy that has the orchard. Whatever your thing is, there needs to be some sort of plan set in place for that. And like I said, the simple answer is hunting and gathering. Um, Society progresses when people settled in one spot and grew and cultivated their livestock and fruits and vegetables, stored it up for the winter, and rinsed and repeated. Don't be expecting to get your coffee from Colombia and your avocados from wherever avocados come from. Next thing, which actually we got two things left. I would establish some sort of schedule. At a bare minimum, I would say a monthly meeting. Um, this is to just touch base, know how other preppers are in your group are stacking up. Um, you're dealing with intake of new recruits. You're establishing what you're going to spend that due money on. Um, you're handling any type of issues with members. uh, and you're planning campouts, FTXs, or field training exercises, different trainings. You could say, hey, the Red Cross is doing CPR and first aid. It's $10 at X church on this date. I'd like as many of you to go as you can. That sort of thing. And then the last one, which I saved it for last because this could be one of the ones that you have a different process than me, but it's the vetting process. And if you're just starting a group, it could be, difficult. At the simplest level, getting a background check done. And this is for, you know, they should have a background check done on you, and you should have a background check done on them. Um, this, at the very least, establishes, you know, John Doe only has speeding tickets, and so I'd say he's pretty decent. This person has, a couple of crimes. He paid some fines, did some jail time, and he's been a, outstanding citizen since then. Like a one and done kind of person. Um, this guy over here, has a growing list. He doesn't seem to stay out of trouble for very long. They're escalating. No signs of, remorse or anything. So maybe you should, watch out for that. Um, but that's what the background check will get you. After that, I'd add in references. Kind of treat it like a job interview. Um, you don't want to scare people away with this process, um, but you also don't want to invite someone in that's going to, you know, leech off your group or put your group in any sort of harm's way. The whole point of a mag is, we're stronger in numbers. And I mentioned, you're only as strong as your weakest link. Well, if one of the links there is only there to benefit themselves, or, you know, they have, you know, evil thoughts or actions in mind, then that's definitely going to put a damper on your prepping group. Um, Other than that, um, I would say, there should be maybe some sort of, period put into place where, you can come to the meetings, kind of see if this is right for you. But a lot of the things in this list is also kind of part of, the vetting process. Someone says, oh, I want to join your prepping group, because we've all heard the, oh, you're prepping. Well, when things go south, I'll come to your house. Well, you can come to my house if you've got at least 1 month's supply of food. You can come to my house if you are actively, um, training to protect you, yourself, your family. You can come to my house if you're being physically fit. You can come to my house. I could read down the whole list if I wanted to, but um, we'll stay out of that. The vetting process should, in theory, keep the bad apples out of the way. But like I said, that's why we have, this other thing on the list, which is, clear rules. They're written down. People sign documents. It could be based off of a handshake, a verbal agreement. But, they know what they're getting into. They know what the requirements are to get into it. They know how to get out of it peacefully or how to be forced out. And this hopefully allows you to get like-minded people that see this as a benefit. You're stronger in a group. They're not in this for themselves. They are going to grow as a prepper, and if something were to happen, then they can also rely on you. You start this group, and it turns out, other people are, you know, more adept at being leaders. Maybe they're more charismatic. Maybe they've got, the land to set up the community, and you let them take the reins, and your group prospers. However, this works, the vetting process should help. And like I said in the beginning of the video, you read through this and you sit here and tell yourself, I don't think I'm the one to start a prepping group. But you see an ad on Craigslist, you see someone talking about it in their prepping video. Hey, we're in this area, we meet here and do this kind of stuff. Or you join a Facebook group. In my opinion, if they're not having a certain level of these requirements or a strong equivalent, then maybe you should look for a different group. And maybe you join a group and you don't like it, then you know how to get out, start your own group, or, find a better group that works for you. But we're pushing half an hour. If you learned anything from this, then like and subscribe. If you got a friend or family member that benefit from this sort of information, maybe they're just getting into prepping, they've been prepping for a while, or you just want to see my channel grow, then share it with everyone you know. Maybe they'll like the video and they'll share it with other people that they know, and some point we might do live videos if I ever hit the 1,000 subscriber mark. But with that, I'll catch you in the next one, and have a great day.